Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Green. My name's Norma, your host of whatever. Episodes 7 through 9, and I called it. It's Friday, I know. We're a day late, but that's much better than the day of the next episode dropping, don't you think? Anyways, episode 7, okay? We pick up, so we've got the typical just like going through the couple, seeing what they're doing. They're still in Cabo. The first thing that happens is Marissa and Ramsey's on the yacht. And, you know, she's talking all about her Navy boat. And, oh, my God, it's been so long. And, you know, it's so nostalgic, yada, yada, yada. This conversation is a little bit more lighthearted. And she's just talking about how she remembers, like, her memories from being on the boat in the Navy. Moving into Tyler and Ashley. Tyler's just being sweet Tyler. And I put in my notes, like, is this real? Because where I'm confused at is, like, nothing's black and white. So, like, I'm well aware that, like, he could have been lying about the whole kid situation. And everything else was genuine, although it is tainted by that lie. But I'm just like, the way he's being towards Ashley, like, is this real? Because you know how they say, if he wanted to, he would. And, like, for the right girl to a guy, he'll, like, do what he, you know, what you wish he would have done for you type of shit. And so I'm like, I hope, all I can do is hope that it is real for Ashley. Because it would suck if they got married and like it was fake, you know, or like she overlooked the baby situation, which I hope she knew the truth once again before marriage, but whatever. But like that she overlooked that just to find out that like that wasn't him. So hopefully it is that like Ashley was that girl and that he did that for her. Cause like, my goodness. We've got Nick and Hannah bungee jumping, and then Garrett and Taylor are watching like glass blowing or something. And then we are on Monica and Steven, and Monica is talking to Steven about how he said he'd get her flowers. And, you know, she's like, why haven't you, whatever. And honestly, like, I think Monica comes off a little strong in the sense of, like, you're on vacation. It's your, like, first time meeting, you're on vacation. I don't know that his minds are going to be on, like, let me go find her flowers. Although, again, if he wanted to, he would. And if that's what she's looking for, who am I to say that she's doing too much by looking for that, right? She wants a man who will go find her flowers on vacation. Is what it is, you know. I guess I take back my judgment. Now that I'm on camera. Just kidding. But yeah, I do take back my judgment. Because again, nothing's black and white. Like, nothing is as simple as, like, right or wrong, right? Like, everything's different for everyone. And honestly, in watching Love is Blind, that's, like, the conclusion I've come to is, like, these people need to communicate better. These people need to be more sure for themselves of what they want, and then also like what they're willing to give, or like when they're presenting their like best selves, that it's a best self that can be maintained. That conversation had me weak though, because he was like, yeah, you don't seem like the type who would need like Kate Spade. And she was like, ew, no. She didn't say ew, but she was like, yeah, no, don't give me that. She said, why so, baby? Oh my God. She said, Kate Spade, not that poor people bag, honey. No. I'm sorry. It was so comical that he said that with so much confidence. And she was like, hey, Spade, bitch, don't do me. That's what Monica said. Monica said, don't do me. Steven is afraid of marriage, which sends Monica spiraling. Rightfully so. I'm not saying she was wrong. Rightfully so. But it does. And then he's trying to backtrack and like, it's too late. That conversation was a mess, and Steven is a weirdo. We have Alex and Tim making up. I think in the beginning we did hear like Alex saying like, I don't know where we stand. I don't know what's gonna happen from here. You know, the whole dramatic dun 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 situation. And then they go ATV riding and everything's fine. It's like, baby, you do know because he stayed. Like if he was gonna be out, he would have been out. Let's be real. Then the couples are together, a night out at like a bar or something, I don't know, or somewhere in the resort. There's fireworks. They all go watch the fireworks, but Steven stays back talking to Garrett. Monica is all offended by that. She comes back and she's like, she's being a smartass, you know, sarcastic, whatever you want to call it. And she's like, oh, thanks, honey. That was so romantic. Watching those fireworks with you, so romantic. Yeah. And he's like, sorry, I was talking to Garrett. She's like, yeah, I know. And I'm sorry. She was doing too much. Like, I understand you wanting romantic moments, but also it was just like, I don't know, like it wasn't really that big of a deal in that moment because like they also, like you saw, who was it? Tyler and Tim were holding on to each other and their girlfriends were just watching in front of them. Like, yes, a couple of the couples were like holding each other, but like it wasn't like a clear and cut, yeah, everybody was coupled up and Monica's like staring, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just a little bit much. But then he gets freaking weird. You guys, okay? Lesson number, I don't know what. Two things can be true at once, okay? Monica can be doing too much and Steven can remain a weirdo, okay? He comes and he tries to bring her sparkling water, which, like, who drinks sparkling water? Not many people. So for you to, like, not know what someone wants and decide on sparkling water is weird. Not a lot of people, like, drink sparkling water, like, just be, you get what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying no one does, but, like, when it's not a common drink where, like, you wouldn't know what somebody wants and you would be like, sparkling water, right? Like, you would just get regular water at the very least. Coke. Like, I don't know. That was weird. And she's like, yeah, no, don't like sparkling water. And then he gets into this whole, like, sorry, you know, Garrett wanted to talk to me, and Taylor's sitting there with them. And he looks at Taylor, he's like, you know, Garrett, like, he thinks differently than we do. I felt like he had to get his thought out and it would be rude, you know, and he's a, what did he say? Like a scientist, whatever the fuck. And so his brain works differently and he has to get things out differently. No, okay? No. Then he starts talking. And Monica, or he keeps talking, I should say. Monica walks away. She's like, I'm gonna go get some french fries. And she walks away, leaves Taylor with this man. And this man is like, you know, and then like, yeah, like in a year, we're gonna have like girls in our DMs trying to suck our dick. The faraway look on Taylor's face, like, how did I end up left with this man saying this? Where did I go wrong, okay? And yeah, not shocked. I do feel for Monica because if we can just acknowledge how awful it is for these people who don't make it to the altar, not even so much the ones that make it to the altar and say no, because like by then you got the full experience and that was the goal. But to not make it to the altar because your person was so freaking unserious about this process, and you're sitting there like, I could have talked to any other of the 9 men that were left. So now we're back home. We're back in the US. We are in our apartments. So we have Hannah and Nick in their apartment, and Hannah starts nagging off rip. And I'm sorry, it is insanity to me. Insanity, okay? And I don't want to come from a hypocritical place because Cameron and I had very many similar struggles to Hannah and Nick's, and I didn't always handle them gracefully. But I'm going to ask Cameron, but like, I really don't believe that I was like at her level of handling it. And it wasn't that I didn't handle it gracefully all the time. But I understand, right? Like when you had to work early on, right? You had to work early on. You had to become responsible for yourself early on, financially, as an adult, all those things. Not everybody has that life. Nick did not have that life, right? He had parents who loved him and were, not who loved him, that's fucked up. Her parents love her. I didn't mean that. He had parents who were like able, I'll say that, able to be there, to be at all the sporting events, to like participate in their kid's life, to not make their kid have to work, to not make their kid have to worry. He goes off to college, right? Full scholarship, clearly, for football. Becomes a kicker in the CFL, I think it's called, and then comes home. So like, obviously, and I'm gonna say something, and Hannah, if you're watching, baby, lock it in. As a 32-year-old broke mama with 3 kids, even now, if I could go live with my mom for the free, I'm going to live with my mom for the free, okay? Once this lease is up, honestly, y'all, I think that's exactly what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go live with my mama for the free, rack up, and, like, make life better. Because, my God. Anyways, besides the point, you have to be understanding. And then if you're not, that's, like, a different conversation, right? Like she is aware. Nick made it clear that he made her aware of his situation. He said she knew he lived with his mom. She obviously knew. They talked about finances and he was like, you know, I'm starting up. I don't have a lot of money. Like, she knows his situation. So in the pods should have been where you made your decision of, I'm cool with the situation. I'm cool with what comes with the situation. Let's move forward. Or I cannot and I'm out. She did not do that. Instead, she says yes, gets with him, only to nag him about shit she already knew. Like, so, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. This first conversation, she's like, am I going to have to tell you things or are you just going to do them? Am I going to have to tell you to take out the trash? He's like, you think that if I was going to go throw trash away, I saw the trash was full, I wouldn't take it out? She's like, I don't know that. I haven't lived with you. So then why are you nagging? Why are you taking this aggressive-ass tone in this conversation? How about you let it happen first? Like, girl, what are we doing? Garrett and Taylor look at each other's socials. She looks at him loving fishing or fly fishing, some form of fishing. Alex and Tim, we see them talking like, oh, about how they sleep or whatever, how they're going to live together. And he doesn't cuddle and Alex likes to cuddle. So I don't know. Hopefully they figure out some sort of solution. Maybe he'll cuddle for 10 minutes and then let me give her a dose. Tyler praying again. You guys, I can't, again, like, I'm like, is that real? Is any of that real? And I feel like it's not, though, because, like, I refuse to believe that you found God and God told you to abandon your children, sperm donor or not. And then this episode ends with Ramsey's and Marissa's conversation over dinner, where one, she says, what does she say? Al dente? It's al dente. Al dente. Eat. Period. Point blank. Don't argue with your mammy, not me. Then they proceed to argue about the military, right? If I'm being real, based off this conversation, it is clear to me that Marissa presented a stance that is not true to her in the pods. I say that because as strongly as Ramsey seems to feel about being anti-military, I don't think that if she spoke about it in the way she's speaking about it by the end of this conversation and in future episodes, I don't believe that she was like that in the pods, if that makes sense. I don't think he would have like proceeded, especially as someone who was married and waited 4 years to like take something seriously again. Not saying that I know him, just based off of what we're seeing, obviously. And then with her, it's clear because like she starts off the conversation like, yeah, no, I definitely don't agree with everything, you know, that the military stands for at all. And she's like, and you know, things I've been through. She does point out, which is a valid point of like, you know, a lot of kids come in at 18. They don't know what it actually means. Because like they were having an argument of where he was like, yeah, but that's something you choose to do. So to say that like, oh, you were put through this thing, or like to kind of have this like, woe is me attitude, even if it's just a little bit, to him, it's like, you chose to go do that. And like, he's like, you're going into the military, you were going to shoot people. Like, that's just a given type of thing, where she's like, yeah, I don't think I realized what it would be like to actually have to do it, is what she was saying. And then she mentions how there are kids who are 18 and go in. And I don't think Ramsey's was saying those kids are in the same position as like you, or I don't know how she was when she entered, but like as someone who was a little bit older, you know, like I think he knows that it's circumstantial. But however, I realized in that conversation, she starts off almost anti-military, right? Like, I'm definitely against the stuff they did. And then she's kind of like, but I do want to have pride in my work. And then it's like, yeah, no, I'm proud of it. And I'm not going to let you make me like, you know, like I still stand by it. I don't regret it. I would do it again type of energy. And I feel like had she had that energy in the pods, he would not have been as confident in her. And I could be wrong. Maybe he was like blinded from that. But I don't believe that was the case. Just in like her like processing of that conversation, where she went from like one end to another in the opinion of that. Moving in episode 8, Ashley and Tyler talk wedding. He wants to be part of the decisions. She's kind of like, this is every little girl's dream. Like, you're going to have to co-captain that. Like, your opinions will be considered, but no promises. And he's like, really? And she's like, yeah. And they make a deal that I don't remember what it was, but they both seem comfortable with the decision they came to about that. Monica and Steven go do pressed flowers. If you ask me, the producers definitely gave him that idea. I don't think that man would have found that on his own. He can't even gift her flowers. You're telling me he found a pressed flower activity? Nick and Hannah go meet his parents. His mom loves her. They love her off the bat. They're like, she's beautiful, she's great, she's da-da-da. Yeah, overall a good meeting. She presented herself really well. Ramsey's meets Marissa's friends. And this is what I was talking about, getting back to it. The conversation obviously comes up again. I think some of her friends were either military or pro-military, or like one of them was, you know, they're talking, and one of them is like, you know, I'm really proud of her, and she, or us. Yes, she was in the military. She goes, we're really proud of our service, like, and I would hate for her to be with someone who knocks that down, yada yada. He talks about and being anti-military, and you know what that has done to people, because he's from Venezuela and he's been on the other side of it. And all that, and like why he stands where he stands, and like saying how basically like had they met before, which I think she said in another conversation, that it wouldn't have gone as well. Tim meets Alex's dad, and okay, I'm warming up to Tim. Hopefully he doesn't let me down. I don't think he will. It seems like if things go wrong, it's gonna be Alex who's the problem, because she's a little bit hot-headed, hot-tempered, whatever you want to call it. But he meets her family, he meets her dad. It's beautiful. It's so funny because she's like structuring this meeting. Like, she's like, okay, we're gonna bring them in, we're gonna talk to them, you're gonna walk away, I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna walk away with them, and you're gonna walk and sit with my dad, and you're gonna tell him. It's like, girl, like, chill, just say hi, just do it. So yeah, he meets everyone's talking, then he's like, hey, I'd really love to talk to her dad alone, if you guys want to walk the dog or whatever. So she takes the rest of her family outside with her dog. he tells the dad how much he loves her and reads her the letter he had written her and read her, like addressed to her dad. Reads him, the dad's crying. That's like my only baby girl. He's like, I believe you. I believe in your letter. I believe that you're a good person. And so you have my blessing or whatever. And then she calls her family. Like, it was a really beautiful moment. We can't deny that. We cannot. And it's gonna suck if they say no after having a moment like this. Like, and this is the only thing I hate with this show. I know that it probably isn't the best for the show. And I don't really know what that would look like moving forward. Like what that would look like if every couple did that. But I feel like these moments should not be happening if the couple is not like 100% on yes and doing it. Because it feels weird to like put her dad through that emotional state and her family, knowing that you're not 100% sure you're going to say yes. Knowing that there's a possibility that you won't even get married after this. Like, that's a lot. And then imagine for Tim, like, you don't get married. You meet your future wife and you want to marry her. Like, are you going to read the same letter to her dad? Like, is she going to be judging that, like, your moment with her dad wasn't as special as this one? And it's a lot. Like, to have, this is what I mean, like, tender, real, and raw moments like that, and then say no just feels strange. I need to know. Like, does it feel weird to anyone else? All right, we've got Taylor and Garrett going to see her place. They see it. Then they talk about who's moving with who. And she talks about how, I think they're in Virginia, or she lives in Virginia, I'm not sure. Talks about her wanting to live in San Diego, and he's from somewhere else, Frederickson, some shit like that. I don't know, some suburban town. But she wants to go to San Diego. And so he's like, yeah, like, I'm willing to move there, yeah. Like, it would be a lot for him, obviously, because, he's one of those guys who was close to his family the whole time. He went away for college and for, like, a summer, but, like, he's lived at home. Like, his family wants him home. He pictured his life with his kids being there with his parents. And while he seems very in love with Taylor, and I think it's so beautiful of him to be able, like, to be like, yeah, no, like, I'm ready, like, wherever you want to be. Speaking as someone who lives somewhere they don't necessarily want to be, like, I don't hate Ohio, but, like, I want to be in Massachusetts with my family, with my best friends, like, that's where I want to be, right? But, because we think it's so simple. We think that love's enough. We think, like, oh, I love my partner so much, like, everything will be fine. That shit is hard. Love for your partner is not enough to, like, be somewhere you don't really want to be, or, like, be somewhere where that family support you're used to. I think when you're close to your family and close to your friends, it's harder than you think to not be around that when that's just the energy you love, right? Because a lot of people had close families but grow up never really feeling like they needed that closeness, right? Like, they could just go and it would be okay. I don't know if that's making sense to you, but so I hope that he takes a moment to, like, pause, reflect, and, like, really, really think about that decision, and not think that it's going to be as easy as he's make it seem like he thinks it is, by being like, I just love her, and wherever she wants to be, I want. It's like, oh, please, no. And hopefully Taylor is also like, hey, I need you to think this through. Like, I need you to take a moment, take a beat. Back with Monica and Steven, where we find out that he was fired from his job for leaving for the show, and he's so weird. And this is where I'm like, it's lies. It's all fucking, like, lies, because he's like, yeah, I knew it was a possibility, but, like, it really sucked to come. And I looked at my foreman. First thing I said was, like, do I have a job? And he's like, no, you didn't hear. And it's like, dude, you had to have known you were losing your job. Your job is not going to tell you, ooh, we're not sure, and then you leave. You get what I'm saying? Like, even if they did say we're not sure, I feel like that's a surefire, like, yeah, you're going to be fired answer, right? Because, like, you're going to leave on a not sure and hope that it's, like, that's crazy to me. So I think he low-key knew. And she's like, I got your back. I'll be your sugar mama. And he's like, oh, I wouldn't ask you to do that, but, like, so grateful that you would. And then the conversation gets weird again, because he's like, yeah, like, if I, like, just came in and you were like, drop him. Like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, that's not. He's like, no, I know. But I'm just saying, if you did. And, like, if these are not clear signs, because this man been saying shit like that since they got together, it's clear signs that the man likes a certain sex life that I don't think she does. And I used to think that the sex conversations weren't important. But looking at Steven, I'm like, I think they are. I think that whenever y'all get to the sex conversation, people need to be talking more about their likes and dislikes, right? Do you like it freaky? You like, as weird as it sounds, and it almost sounds like, why are we talking about this? Like, it's not all about sex. But that is an important conversation, because clearly he needs a freaking freak. Like, nothing wrong with it. No judgment. I'm not a freak, though. It's So I'm not going to get with somebody that wants me doing some crazy shit, because why would I do that? I don't want that. You know what you get what I'm trying to say? And that is definitely him. Anyways, conversation gets weird. She's like, yeah, no. He's like, you know, and she, you know, she's like, our sex life is great, but like after you did that whole, oh, I'm not sure thing, I'm not having sex with you until you're sure, buddy. Like, what do you mean? And then, you know, he's like, yeah, or she says less butt stuff or some butt pokes. So probably one of those situations where TMI, but you know, in sex, sometimes like your partner might accidentally poke the wrong hole. I'm sorry, I'm such a child when it comes to these conversations. So I think that's what she meant. But I don't think he was doing it by accident. I think he was trying to see if she'd be cool with it. If it's happening often enough for her to say, hey, it's got to happen less, you was trying to slip it in there and her be like, whatever, it happened. And she wasn't going for it. But conversation gets weird. He just keeps saying weirder and weirder things. And then she's like, are you well? Like, what are you talking about? He's just weird. Back to Hannah and Nick, where she continues her nagging, okay? She continues nagging with like, I'm telling you to do this or do that. And she's like, dude, like, she's talking about his bills and like, so is your mom going to keep paying for your insurance? Like, and he's like, I mean, is it an issue? And she's like, that you're not going to pay your own bills? Which like, I'm going to just say this, you guys. And this is from experience, Hannah, okay? This is from experience. I'm getting hypocritical on you. Not hypocritical. I'm getting growth and have learned on you. It is not a flex that we had to work early, or that we had to like get our bills in our name, or that we had to start paying for our own shit early. That's not the flex we think it is. Is it something to be proud of? Sure. Is it something to hold over someone's head? No. Or is it something to hold against someone or judge someone because they did not do that? No. And I say this because Cameron, very similar to Nick, right? Like, went to college. Parents paid for anything he needed outside of what college was paying for. Like, never really needed anything. Was on his parents' phone bill until I put him on mine, like, type shit. And I've realized that is a blessing. I hope to do that for my kids. Because once again, if I could live for free somewhere right now, I would. If someone could pay my phone bill and my car insurance, please freaking do. I'm not taking myself off of their insurance until they tell me to. Like, craziness. That's how I was with my cell phone. I left it right there. And like, that's not, I also feel like it's important to not make non-issues issues. You feel me? Why is that an issue? It's literally not. Like, why would it matter to you that his insurance was in his name or his parents' name, and that it's not combined with yours? Like, what it sounds to me is like you just were hoping that he would combine and then you'd be able to split it, and that would be less money that you're paying. Like, which, sure, if that's what you want in a partner, then you discuss that and say that's what I want, but you don't like chastise him for not having his own insurance or like wanting to get on yours because of what you want. Like, that's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. And then like she goes on, you know, you're not gonna put your phone in your own name. Like, why does he have to? And even if you wanted him to, that's not even something that has to happen right now. So like, that's not that important of a conversation to have now. We get Tyler meeting Ashley's dad, and I very much enjoyed this meeting. Her dad was super chill. He was like, hey, she's a total package right here. Like, she is it. She is dope. And Tyler's like, yeah, she is. You know, and so then he's like, oh, let us talk. His dad's like, go ahead. And so she leaves him alone, and, you know, Tyler kind of asks for permission or whatever. And I loved her dad's response of, like, I mean, it's already done, but, like, also, like, I don't really need, like, you know, she knows what she's doing. She's got this. Like, I'm here if she needs me. I'm here if it goes south. I'm here to back her up, to take care of her, whatever. And I love that. And we don't do that no more, okay? Like, that's not necessary. And I'm going to need us to stop being so archaic. But also, I'm gonna do my best not to judge if that's what you want. Like, if you want your man to ask your dad if that's what your dad wants, and you don't feel like teaching your dad modern things, then whatever, do you? But honestly, I really thought this was dope. I thought her dad's mindset was really dope of like, you know, I'm here for her. Like, I'm here to support her. I'm not here to like knock her decisions down, tell her she wrong. Like, I'm here to catch her when she fall if she fall, you know? Love that energy. And someone else's parents said that, but I can't remember who. You guys. We cut to Monica. She's crying. Taylor's there. It's like, I can't believe it. He's so disgusting. Monica found text messages, kinky text messages in Steven's phone. Taylor's there. Taylor's like, I knew it. That conversation was freaking weird. The one that we all witnessed her have to be involved in. And yeah, he claimed to have been at a sleep study the night before. Tells her he was so drunk, he was texting this girl out of his mind. It was messed up, but like, whatever. But she's like, yeah, you texted her today too. You weren't drunk today too. Also, not to mention, no sleep study's gonna let you be drunk. What are we talking about? Like, are we okay? Are we okay? What's going on? It's just fucking weird. And she's like, she shuts that shit down. She's like, before you go, like, I want you to Venmo me my money that I spent on you while we've been here, that I've been holding your weight for. Right now, pull your phone out. He's like, here you go. Bing. And yeah, then she's like talking. He's like, yeah, I don't deserve much of this. Whatever he's saying. Like, I don't know if he was trying to say he didn't deserve her, or if like he did deserve the like her, what she was saying to him. I don't know. But he looks like he could care less, gets up and leaves. That man had been looking for a way out, reason out from jump. You can't tell me otherwise. But we have Garrett and Taylor. They're there for her. Very, very sweet, very cute. Garrett. Why do I keep saying Garrett? Garrett is a lovely human, at least for now, because previews are showing otherwise. I hope I don't get let down. Last episode 9. Ashley and Tyler are talking kids, okay? My poor Ashley girl thinks she talking to this man about both their first kids ever, and if we have a boy, you get to name the boy, I'm naming the girls, I get to name the girls, If we did have 2 boys, we would have to try for a girl, but if we have a girl, whatever comes out is what you're getting. Like, cute conversation if it wasn't for the information I already have. Hannah is yelling at Nick again. Her brother's coming over to meet him. She's cooking. He offers to help, but she's like, you want to boil some pasta? He's like, that doesn't sound fun. I want to chop some stuff up. She's like, Nick, you asked to help. I tell you what, and you say you don't want to do that? Like, girl. Oh, and then he's like, what do I put it on? You don't know how to boil pasta? You don't know how to boil pasta? Do you know how to boil pasta? Yeah. Okay, so boil the pasta. Put it to boil. If you don't, the energy it takes you to do all that, you could have just said you put it on high until it boils, until the water's bubbling. I mean, Hannah. You guys, I'm yelling. I'm sorry. It was absolutely ridiculous. No. But her brother comes through. He's adorable. I love him. He's a vibe, okay? He's like a little bitch boy. Okay. Yeah, so they're talking. He's watching them throw little jabs at each other. She's saying shit to him. She says, yeah. And he's like, our dryer, you have to dry it like 5 times for it to dry. So then in the morning it's not dry, so I'm putting it to dry. He's like, so I grab what I need. I go. She's like, yeah. And then he leaves it on the bed for me to wake up and have to fold. He's like, well, you're unemployed. And I was like, thank you. You guys, I'm sorry. I'm taking a stance here. I don't know if it's a cancelable stance, if it's the wrong stance the most. If you are unemployed and your partner is working, you take the load a little bit. In that situation, obviously. If you're both working, you can both do things evenly. You are not working. Fold the clothes. Don't piss me off. Fold the clothes. Because honestly, and I think the conversation already passed. I think it was the last time I spoke about them. When she was like, I sweep and, when do you sweep and vacuum? And he was like once every couple weeks. What? No, I do that every day. Every day. First of all, every day is ridiculous. Sorry. You're a liar. If you're like, no, it's not. That's what everyone should do. Shut up. No. If you do you cannot say, oh, because I do it this way, that's how you need to do it. If that's what you want, you need to find somebody who does things the way you do. You don't get to tell somebody they're living their life wrong and they got to live the way you do. If he only does it once every 2 weeks and you do it every day, you come to an understanding of hey, would you mind taking a day over for me? 2 days over for me? Because if I'm being real, y'all, if you do it all day, if you do it every day anyways, you've been doing it thus far, you can continue to do it. I'm sorry. That's just the reality. No. You could ask them, and if your partner loves you, I'm sure they're willing to say yes. I'll do a day or 2, right? I'll do a day a week where I'll sweep and vacuum for you if that's what you want done every day. No, especially if you're overkill like that. If you, she seemed like she'd be overkilling a little bit. And if that's the case, you got to figure that out. You do. You can ask your partner for help here and there, but, you cannot put that on somebody else. That's wild. But she walks away. He talks to her brother about how sometimes she, jabs a little bit too hard, a little bit too many times. And it's a lot. And her brother's like, yep, I've had that struggle with her. I've had those conversations with her. He also says how it's she'll jab, but then can't take it. He'll jab back. And she's like, which we saw. Cause she's jabbing at him. And then he's like, you're unemployed. And she's like, oh, wow, that was not a joke. No, Nick, that was a lie. And it's girl, hush, stop it. But I like that her brother was able to be honest and be like, you love her. I love her. But yeah, she wrong. We get more Garrett and Taylor being cute. They have officially become the boring couple in place of Tyler and Ashley, because Tyler ain't shit. We get to see Tim's place. It's actually beautifully put together. Bachelor pad vibes, but not like sleazy bachelor pad. Like really well put together. I love his couches. I would keep those if I were her. I'm not saying shit. Now, I want you to mental note all the shit she says walking through his apartment. All the little comments and the little like digs she has about things, okay? Mental note that for when we talk about them in a bit. We meet Marissa's mom. Nut job. Straight up nut job. I'm sorry. No disrespect to nobody mama, but what was that? Okay, she's going in on Ramsey. You're going to talk to me about marriage? I mean, yeah, he is, because yours failed. Okay. Anyways. She doesn't believe marriage is forever. 15, 20 years, sure. She doesn't believe you'll last forever, which, okay, girl, do you. They talk about how poor they are. The sister seems very braggy about the fact that she had to use socks as mittens. Okay, you seem very excited to tell that story. But I guess we all are. I feel like most of us kind of have fun telling traumatic stories like that, or like traumas of our youth, you know? So she goes in about the marriage thing, and then she goes in about a prenup. Old D. He's like, yeah, no, I don't have any problem signing a prenup. Like, I'm not with her for her money. Well, she doesn't have money right now. Okay, he's not, like, he already established. He's not with her for her money now or later. He doesn't care. He'll sign a prenup. Why are we still... Marissa, you gonna make him sign a prenup? Girl, he said he's fine with signing one. So whether your daughter makes them or not, if she makes them, he gonna sign it. What else is there to worry about? You sound a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. We can see that Marissa and her siblings do a lot of coddling for their mother. I feel like it's one of those really typical situations where the mom is dealing with a lot of guilt because of how she had to bring up her kids, you know, how hard she had to work, maybe how she wasn't as present as she could have been. They all seem really well-rounded for how crazy she seems, so that's fun. And I think, at least Marissa, we obviously weren't privy to the others because they're not the people of the show, but it seems like she holds a lot of, like, weight for her mom in that, where, you know, like kind of coddly and thank you for my book, I can't wait to read it, like maybe, and her mom calls her like a bitch. So it's clear that like if certain responses aren't to her mom's liking, it can be hard, and so she almost has this like make sure she feels happy and like appreciated or whatever type of thing. We meet Hannah's parents. They're super chill. Hannah's like, you're not gonna grill them, and they're like, what do you mean? Her mom's looking at her like, oh, my daughter is a piece of work. Yeah, her mom's looking at her like, why? And then she's looking at her and stuff she says, like, girl. It was just funny. They were definitely on Nick's side in the situation. I feel like her family just knows what's up when it comes to Hannah. Back to Alex. We go to Alex's place. It's hoarded, okay? There's clothes everywhere, bags. Her room, the closet is up to her knees in clothes all over her bed. It's a mess. And you can tell she's fully mortified. I don't think in her head it was this bad when she brought him over. So she's like, oh, it's so weird. You see her picking at her hands. Like, she's stressed out. She's stressed out about the fact that they had to see this, which is insane. All the little things she was saying at his place, at your place look like this, baby. I would have been on mute. I would have been like, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. This is great. Wow. Because, girl, how embarrassing for you. We meet Taylor's friends. They're talking about how she wants to move. And like me, they're kind of like, are you sure? Like, to Garrett. And, you know, they're like, we meet Taylor's friends. They're just like me with Garrett, kind of like, that's a lot. Like, are you sure this is not gonna affect you? Yada, yada, yada. And so, yeah, they, like, it was good. It was cute. They get to know him. One of them talking about they brought him a fish. I wonder if they actually did. If they did, that's really cute. But overall, it seemed like a good meeting, and he's so sweet. Marissa and Ramsey's get into it again, and we see in the upcoming that this, like, goes on. But it's basically they start having an argument about birth control. She says she's not getting on birth control. He says he doesn't like condoms. He doesn't want to use condoms, but he also wants her on birth control to prevent babies. And she's like, well, I'm not getting on birth control, so it's either condoms or no condoms, and we risk having a baby. What's up? And that's how the conversation ends. And like I said, in the upcoming, we see that it's still going, where he's like, this is a big one for me. Like, sex needs to be enjoyable. And it's like, well, then you risk the baby, sir. Like, I don't know what you want. Marissa is a little bit aggressive about it. But I mean, I do agree of like, you can't force her to put shit in her body because you don't want to use a condom, you know? Like, that's the risk you gotta be willing to take. You guys, okay, so in episode 8, I put Nick and Hannah at his parents'. I think that must have been for someone else. So, because then I have here meeting Nick's parents. So I must have skipped somebody meeting somebody's parents. But all the parent meetings went mostly well. I think it was Taylor. Did I talk about Taylor meeting? I don't think I did. Yeah, I think I messed that up. I don't know. I'm realizing my notes are all mixed up. But Taylor does meet Garrett's parents. I thought it was hilarious because she just like walks in herself. She's like, I got it. Opens the door, walks in. Hey, like, girl, whoa, okay. Needless to say, Garrett's mom is stressed, right? She's like, we don't know her. Like, this is a really big deal. She's sending him emails. Like, his mom is not for it just yet. Taylor's kind of like, I really want our parents to be on board by wedding day. And so he's a little stressed out, you know, because obviously he's like, it would be devastating if your dad didn't, because I know what that means to you. Very healthy things going on. So hopefully it remains that way, because upcoming does not seem very promising. And we end with the second like biggest bombshell ever, which is Tyler. Ashley has found out, Tyler has told her that he is a sperm donor. 3 kids, okay, to a couple that couldn't have kids. And she's basically like, you haven't shown me pictures, you haven't shown me paperwork that shows that you are not responsible for these kids. You want to know why, baby? Because the pictures show him being a daddy, and there is no paperwork because the paperwork shows the opposite. I said as much as I need to say about this, so it's kind of funny that this whole moment came up, and it's like I've kind of already shared all my thoughts about this, but I'll reiterate. I very much hope that she knew the truth before getting married. That doesn't make her look the best, because like, baby, fuck no. But then again, I mean, you know, they might have had a conversation. Maybe he's already, well, no, he can't be okay with these people if these people are putting that out recently. But who knows? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know how he walks his way out of this one. I cannot wait for the reunion to hear what he has to say, or what she has to say. If they do get married, both of them. If they don't, him. Hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you did. Comment down below. I want all your thoughts on everything that happened in these episodes. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.